What up, fam? Welcome back to the channel. This is MMA John. You can call me G. We're about to break down UFC Fight Night, Dricus Du Plessis versus Kamaru Usman. But before we get into that, I definitely want to talk about UFC 329 and what happened last night. So let's get straight into it. Now we're going to quickly recap some of these fights. Alexander Costa submitted Cody Durden as expected. We picked Costa and we predicted a finish. That's exactly what happened. Next fight up, we had Ryan Gondra. That was the pick. We said he was going to knock out Zach Reese, and he went ahead and did that. The dude is huge. He just used his forward pressure, and then ultimately got to Zach Reese. Next fight up, we had Farid Basharat versus John Garza. And if I'm not mistaken, we definitely had Farid Basharat. But honestly, dude, you didn't look that good. Ethan Ewing would have definitely beat you in this spot now that I look at it. But shout out to John Garza for putting up a fight. Damian Pinas versus Cesar Almeida. Now, Cesar Almeida started out looking technical and then ultimately got hit, or took a clean shot, I should say, in the chin. And went down after that. You know what I mean? He went down. He was about to hit him one more time, but, you know, it was pretty much over after that. Shout out to Damian Pinas. The Baby Yaga is here to stay. Now, next fight up, we had Kong Wang versus Tracy Cortez. Now, as expected, I mean, I know Tracy Cortez, you know, was kind of limping, and that leg injury was kind of getting to her after, you know, so many leg kicks. But shout out to Kong Wang, you know, no matter what, she was in there. She kept it clean, but ultimately she didn't get the finish. So I wasn't really impressed considering that you were supposed to be Tracy Cortez anyway. But anyway, shout out to Tracy for sticking in there and not quitting on herself for sure. Next fight up, Luke Riley versus Kai Kamaka. I mean, I'm definitely surprised it ended in the first round. I expected a decision win for Luke Riley, or at least a later round stoppage, but he got the knockout. Definitely impressed me. He definitely earned respect from me in this fight. So shout out to Luke Riley for that knockout victory. Next one up, we had Gable Stevenson versus Elijah Ellison. Now, Gable Stevenson, obviously, he was like a minus 3,000. He came in here and swung for the fences and ended up getting that knockout, obviously as expected as well. The dude came in there and, you know, did what he was supposed to do against Elijah Ellison. So I'm not really impressed, but shout out to you for getting it done anyway. Robert Whittaker versus Nikita Krylov. Now this one, definitely impressed by Robert Whittaker. That dude came in here, moved up in weight class, and still got the knockout. Proved all the doubters wrong. The dude's power still carried from last division to this division, so put some respect on Robert Whittaker's name. He came in here and he showed the fuck out. So shout out to you, Robert Whittaker, for breaking Nikita Krylov's jaw, bro. Now, next one up, we had King Green versus Terrence McKinney. Now, this fight was obviously all over the place. It actually like turned out kind of like as expected, low key. Terrence McKinney, you know, as we expect. First rounder bust. He gave it all he got, and then got ultimately body shotted by King Green and ended up in the first round. So low key, looked kind of sus, not gonna lie, but King Green, shout out to you for winning by knockout against Terrence McKinney. Now, next one up, we had Brandon Royale versus Lorna Kavanaugh. Now, this one, low key surprised a few of us. We had Lorna, but Brandon Royale made this fight messy. Continued pushing forward, didn't let Loner just sit there and be technical with him, and that's what ultimately got him the submission victory in the third round. He fatigued Loner, he cracked him a few times, those jabs were adding up, and boom, he got the submission victory. So shout out to you, Brandon Royale, for being that vet and pulling it off. Now, next one up, we had Mario Batista versus Corey Sandhagen. Now, this fight was even, in my opinion, going to the third, maybe 1-1, depending how you looked at it. But then that third round started and Mario cracked Corey, and then it was wraps from there. Takedown after takedown after takedown. And then that's all she wrote. Mario Batista doubted you. We had Corey. And look at that. Mario Batista edges out a decision victory against Corey Sandhagen. So shout out to you, Mario. Do we see a third? Possibly, possibly not. I definitely don't want to see it though. Next fight up though, the co-main event. Now this one, I am truly impressed by Paddy Pimblett. I gotta give you the flowers, Paddy. BSD shot one attempt and it was over from there. He got the victory in under a minute via sub. Now, shout out to Patty. BSD has never been sub, and this guy comes in and subs him in a minute. You got to give him props. We got to stop doubting that man. No more underdog tags on their Patty. Let's keep it real. That was probably the last underdog tag that you got to definitely capitalize on. So, we'll see. Unless he fights Ilya, definitely he'll probably have an underdog tag, but maybe against Arvin East, I don't know. Never mind what I say. Shout out to Patty for getting it done. He looked great out there. And now we talk about the main event. The sad, unfortunate main event outcome. Conor McGregor gets injured. That's unfortunate. His very first strike that he throws, I think he tore his ACL from the looks of it. And that's very unfortunate. But I'm going to be real. Dude, you're old. You're like 37, 38. You haven't fought in 5 years. You did a lot of damage on your body in those 5 years, as we said in the video last week. And you come in here and you throw one of those vintage counter strikes when you were like 25, dude. Of course, shit like that's going to happen. You shouldn't have never thrown one of those. You should have just been technical. You know, maybe you would have had a chance. But, of course, we had Max. We never really doubted him. We wanted Conor to win, low-key, you know, for the sake of the sport. But Max got it done via knockout, first round, you know, injury, whatever. Definitely a disappointing event. Disappointing main event after that crazy, wicked, banging-ass event we had as a whole. We had to end it off with Conor, unfortunately, getting injured. But it is what it is. Like Max would say, it is what it is. I wish you well, Conor. I hope you definitely get better. And I hope that leg recovers. And, you know, forget all those haters that are, you know, booing you and, you know, talking smack about you. That shit was kind of pointless. You can't kick a man while he's down. You know, he's hurt. So it is what it is. We'll see you next year. And next year will probably be better. So sucks I had to end that way. But crazy ass event. UFC 329 definitely delivered. So we're about to head to Oklahoma City for Dricus Du Plessis, DDP versus Kamaru Usman. Former champ versus former champ. We're going straight into it, baby. Now, for the very first fight of the night, for UFC Fight Night, Dricus Du Plessis versus Kamaru Usman is Alden Coria versus Stewart Nicoll. And I'm not really going to waste your time. Alden Coria comes in at a minus 1,000. And Stewart comes in at a plus 675. Coria is solid, well-rounded prospect with power on those hands. And Stewart, he's just like a wrestler grappler. Unlike Coria, though, he has not yet won in the UFC. Actually, you know, funny story, he started the UFC at 8-0, and now he's 8-3. So, unfortunately, he has not gotten a single win, and he's not looking pretty good. But anyway, at a minus 1,000, you know exactly what's going to happen, guys. If you guys know these fighters, Alden Coria is just coming in here to knock out Stewart Nicoll, and that's that. So, Alden Coria will be the pick. Stewart Nicoll is probably going to struggle taking him down. Alden Coria trains with Joshua Van and them, so I expect things getting better. He won his couple last fights by knockout, so he's going to come in here and make it 3 in a row, if I'm not mistaken. So give me give me Alden Coria to get it done by knockout. Now, next fight up, we got Felipe Franco versus Levi Rodrigues Jr. Now, Felipe Franco comes in at plus 160, and Levi comes in at minus 185. Now, Felipe Franco, decent fighter, got alright hands, decent grappling, and Levi Rodrigues is coming off a knockout win, but later became a no contest because he popped for performance enhancement drugs. But despite all that, the dude's kind of solid. In this fight, I'm not going to lie, I am leading Levi Rodrigues. Low confidence, though, obviously. These guys, low level, let's be real. I'm not sure what type of guy we're going to get, considering he got popped for sauce his last fight. So, you know, take my pick with a grain of salt. But Felipe Franco is alright, but he got gassed against Freddie Vidal, ended up losing that fight, and Freddie Vidal is a gym teacher. We all know that. Meanwhile, Levi Rodrigues destroyed Freddie Vidal and made it look easy. Yes, I know. Felipe Franco fought Mario Pinto and kind of went all the way, went the distance. But Felipe Franco, to be fair, he didn't look that great, or I should say Mario Pinto didn't look that great in that fight. So it was kind of more of like he didn't look that great compared to Felipe Franco, kind of looked just regular average. Mario Pinto, they fought, 10 times. He's definitely beating him at least 9, or at least all 10 times. So I really can't credit that performance against Mario. He was just probably trying to go in there, and it definitely was probably short notice if I last recall. But anyway, the point is, this is an iffy fight. They're going to go back and forth. And I think for the sake of the pick, I'm going to go ahead and pick the more explosive guy in Levi Rodrigues to get it done via knockout. But again, low confidence. I am a little bit hesitant because I did say he got popped for sauce last time out. So this time out, be wary. Look at the weigh-ins and see how Levi Rodrigues is kind of looking. Felipe Franco technically is the better overall fighter, and Levi is kind of still green. You can obviously see it on the records of both. One guy has more experience than the other. But I'm going to go with Levi Rodrigues. He seems to be the more explosive guy. I expect him to push forward and end up getting that knockout victory. So Levi Rodrigues for the knockout win against Felipe Franco. Now, next fight up, we got Alvin Hines versus RJ Harris. Now, I don't think this fight has odds yet. This is another short notice fight. Alvin Hines was supposed to fight Alan Fry Jr., if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, Alvin Hines is an explosive, powerful heavyweight who likes to throw bombs and grapple when he needs to from time to time. And as for RJ Harris, he's a former boxer with a boxing record of like 3-1. He has a good jab, good 1-2 in general. The dude's pretty tall, really huge, with a 6'6" height and 80 reach advantage. In this fight, he definitely has a reach advantage against Alvin Hines, stated right here in the graphic. But anyway, I see this fight being a sloppy-ish, big man slugfest type of fight. They're just going to throw at each other. So, before you go out there and bet on Alvin Hines, I do think he's probably going to be the favorite. Be careful. This is heavyweights. He is smaller. He is having a smaller reach. And he is going against a potential boxer in this fight. So you got to be careful. Normally, I guess in the heavyweight division, you tend to be the boxer, and you're going against another heavyweight that's gonna ultimately agree to stand up with you. You got to lean the boxer's way, so you got to keep that in mind. Alvin Hines can come in here and attempt a few takedowns. Is he gonna get them? I'm not 100% sure. I don't think he could. He's not the greatest wrestler, but of course, RJ Harris is a boxer at the end of the day, so keep that in mind. But I hope he's been training on his takedown defense for sure. But Alvin Hines is definitely going to try to take him down, but let's be real. It's heavyweight. It's going to be sloppy. I expect this fight to end in a knockout. And if it ends in a knockout, it's got to be ground and pound or stand up. And I'm going to go ahead and take my chances against Alvin Hines here. I'm going to go ahead and pick the assumed dog in RJ Harris. I assume he's going to be the dog here. He's coming in on short notice. And I think he's going to win via knockout, considering that he is a boxer, considering that he is 6'6", and considering that he has 80 reach advantage. 80 reach. 80 reaches in his reach advantage here. So I think he should be fine. He should be able to connect and throw some jabs and keep Alvin Hines at bay and make sure Alvin Hines doesn't land that takedown to secure those ground and pound finishes or whatever he's going to try to do. So I'm going to go ahead and take the chance, low confidence in RJ Harris. This is a heavyweight fight, very volatile. So I suggest you take the under and you move on and enjoy this fight. But anyway, RJ Harris by knockout will be the pick. Now, next fight up, we got Seok versus Jean-Paul Lebosyani. Apologize for those names. Obviously, they were definitely hard to pronounce. But anyway, we've seen these guys before. We've seen these guys fight. They're both pretty good. John Paul, you see him fight against Foro, and he kind of looked kind of sloppy, or kind of looked kind of good at the beginning, and things got sloppy at the end. And he ended up winning a decision split victory against Foro, but it kind of looked kind of scary towards the end, so keep that in mind. And as for Cole, you guys know who he is. He got that nice little knockout victory when he stepped to the side and hit him with a right hook. The dude just fell feet on his first face first, and it was a pretty epic KO. I forgot who he fought there. But he definitely beat Obon Elliott and maybe one other guy. The dude's pretty good though. But anyway, Cole, dude's weapons are his physical strength. He likes to push you forward, push forward, wrestle, uses top control, and does good at closing the distance and forcing his opponents against the cage and just earning that control time and turning strikes into takedowns. And he's pretty good at all that. And as for John Paul, you guys know him. Very creative at striking. Really good, versatile offensive striker in general. He has a diverse arsenal of striking. He showed it against the Phil Rowe fight. Good movement, dangerous kicks, and legitimate submission skills. But in this fight, guys, it's a question of can John Paul maintain the distance and mix his offensive striking against Cole to prevent that pressure that Cole's going to pretty much try to establish. And, he's definitely the more diverse striker and has the opportunities to do so using that movement and combinations. But, however, the matchup changes considerably once, I think, in my opinion, KO. Once Cole gets inside. So I think Cole should look to pressure Lebosyani towards the fence and establish that clinch early. Chain wrestle if he needs to, attempt after attempt. He doesn't necessarily need to dominate on the ground or on the striking. He just needs to kind of implement all that kind of together and simplify things to create opportunities into more wrestling. So I do favor Seok to get it done here. Lebosyani is going to be dangerous early. He's going to create, pretty much competitive moments early. But however, the combination of like the physicality of Cole, the pressure of Cole, the wrestling, the positional control that he's going to have in this fight due to his wrestling abilities, I think gives him a reliable path to win minutes here and win rounds here. So for the pick, I got to go with Cole to get it done via decision. Now next fight up, we got José Delgado versus Austin Bashi. Now you guys know these fighters. José Delgado, good striker, good forward pressure, heavy combinations, good power in those hands. And as for Austin Bashi, high level elite wrestling, good top control, good submission. This fight's definitely tricky to predict. It's even on odds. It definitely can go either way. Obviously, Bashi can take him down. Considering that Andre Fili was able to take him down, I think Bashi will have no kind of issue taking down José Delgado. Unless, of course, José Delgado has been working on his takedown defense and has improved overnight. But again, Austin Bashi definitely is an elite wrestler and should be able to take down José Delgado here. The question is can he keep him there and earn control time on the feet? José Delgado definitely has to defend a couple of takedowns. He can definitely win here as well. If he defends those takedowns and hurts him on the feet, or just pretty much picks him apart while standing. In this fight, guys, low-key, I'm slightly leaning Delgado. I feel like Bashi has to show me a little bit more. He hasn't really impressed me. He hasn't really fought the level of competition as Delgado has. So I got to lean Delgado. I am a bit scared, mentioning that Fili was able to take down Delgado a couple times. I expect Bashi to do so. So I'm a bit scared that, he does get taken down and he earns control times on the ground. Hopefully he's able to get up, but I am a bit, scared on that part. Bashi can take him down and possibly hold him. But when it comes to the stand-up, there's levels. There's a big-ass gap. Delgado's going to come in here and piece this guy apart. Again, as long as he avoids those takedowns, as long as he avoids the cage, back against the cage and all that shit, he should be good. Delgado should come in here, pick this guy apart, beat him up on the feet, and let's just hope that he accumulates damage on Bashi's face and Bashi isn't unable to continue with those takedown onslaughts later in the rounds, and hopefully ends up getting a KO victory in this fight, because that's going to be the pick. We're going to go ahead and pick José Delgado to win via KO. I expect him to be taken down a few times, but ultimately he's going to be resilient, come back into the fight, and knock out Austin Bashi, pick him apart in a stand-up, and we'll see where we go from there. So José Delgado is the pick via knockout. Now next fight up, we got Dione Barbosa versus Anna Melisano. Now, this is another short notice fight. Anna accepted this fight for Veronica Hardy. Veronica Hardy had to pull out due to injury. And here steps in this prospect, Anna Melisano, at a 6-1 professional record here. She's definitely a solid balanced striker with good movement, who likes to push the pace. But it's kind of funny how she's currently in the Ultimate Fighter show. She's still in the show. She actually lost her first fight, the very first episode in the show. She got outstruck, exposed on the ground, and submitted in the very first round. And if you guys know anything about Dione Barbosa, you know that she's pretty good at grappling. You know that she's pretty good at submitting girls. And she's a vet. And they give her this young new girl. Yeah, this is a disaster waiting to happen for Anna. But here we are. With all that being said, you guys obviously know Dione Barbosa is going to be the pick. But it's just kind of funny that the girl fighting in Ultimate Fighter, or was in the show Ultimate Fighter, which currently still is, lost her very first fight. And the point of this show is for the winner to get a contract and fight in the UFC. But here we are, we have a loser who lost in the very first episode is fighting in the UFC. Make that make sense? But anyway, I get it. Short notice. It is what it is. Anyway, Anna Melisano, she's alright. Go watch that first episode. She has good, solid striking. But eventually she ended up getting pieced apart by the other girl too. Who was the submission girl? I'm going to be honest. I highly encourage you to watch the very first episode. It was pretty good. But anyway, she got hit a couple times, got taken down, and ultimately submitted. Dione Barbosa is going to do exactly the same thing. So, let's be real. Dione Barbosa is going to be the pick via sub. And you do have potential. You're all going to, you do belong in the UFC, but, too early. Dione Barbosa by sub. Now, next fight up, we got Tommy McMillen versus Alberto Montes. Now, this is going to be a good fight. Tommy McMillen, aggressive striker, rangy, likes to do rangy shots, keep it in range, but while at times he kind of leaves openings for his opponents to just, take him down or land the shot of his own due to his looping, aggressive striking style. As for Montes, dangerous grappler, can pretty much submit you from anywhere, honestly. But in this fight, guys, I got to go with McMillen. I think if he stays disciplined and keeps the fight majority standing on the feet, I think it definitely does favor him over 15 rounds. I expect this fight to be competitive. I expect both of them to have their moments, but McMillen is bigger, definitely has a size advantage in this fight, and that volume and pressure is going to be able to dictate in longer portions of the fight. Compared to Montes. Montes most likely will have submission opportunities, but if that's really your path to victories, it's kind of submit him. He has okay striking, but, can he get by against Tommy? Yeah, possibly. But Tommy is stronger, seems to be the more physical guy, and he's just going to be able to make this fight kind of ugly, kind of messy, kind of sloppy, and I think it's going to ultimately favor him due to the size. All Tommy McMillen has to do is not worry about getting subbed, and he should ultimately win here via decision, if not a late round knockout. I don't really like the guy. I'll be honest, I'm not really a big fan of Tommy. He's kind of sloppy, and I'm not really a big fan of sloppy fighters. But anyway, Tommy McMillen should get it done. Alberto Montes is decent. Both these guys have really fought bums. Keep that in mind. But I got to go with the dog and Tommy McMillen to get it done via decision. Now, next fight up, Tabatha Ricci, plus 300 versus Fatima Kline at minus 380. And I'm going to make this one quick for you guys. Ricci will probably have success early, but ultimately, she's going to get pieced apart here. Over 15 minutes, I don't see her landing more than 2, possibly 3 takedowns. She's going to get pieced apart against Fatima Kline, and that's pretty much that. That's really the breakdown. Fatima Kline is levels above Tabatha Ricci when it comes to the stand-up, and Tabatha Ricci is decent, let's be real. Fatima Kline, it's going to get it done via decision, and she can possibly even KO her towards the end of the fight. She has the size, she has the athleticism, and definitely has the superior striking against Tabatha Ricci. So, save you some time. Fatima Kline's going to get it done by decision. Next fighter, we got Chase Hooper versus Mitch Ramirez. Now, I'm going to be honest. Can we trust Chase Hooper right now? Coming off back-to-back KO losses. He's facing a bum in Mitch Ramirez, who shouldn't even be in the UFC. Let's be real. Mitch is better at striking. We all know Hooper is really not the greatest at striking. He's low-key ass, but obviously Chase's grappling is levels above Mitch Ramirez, and that's all he really much needs here. In order to win, I see Chase Hooper eventually landing a takedown and submitting Mitch Ramirez. I don't really like the odds. Chase Hooper's at -200 and Mitch is at +250. Obviously, it should be closer due to their recent success, their recent failures. This should be a closer line, but Mitch Ramirez really shouldn't be here. Let's be real. So, they gave Chase Hooper a oop. And Chase Hooper's going to come in here and get the sub in the first 2 rounds. So, I got to go with Chase Hooper. So, give me Chase Hooper to get it done. First round, submission. And just be careful. Chase Hooper's been looking like shit lately. But anyway, Chase Hooper by sub. Now, next fight up, we were supposed to get Kevin Holland versus Jacoby Smith. But unfortunately, Kevin Holland withdrew. But anyway, the pick's going to be Jacoby Smith. It was always going to be Jacoby Smith. We don't really trust Kevin Holland. Let's be real. But anyway, let's move on. The next actual fight is actually Jared Cannonier versus Chris Leroy Duncan. Now, this one's pretty simple. Jared Cannonier is old. He's 42. But let me remind you guys, the dude is still extremely dangerous. Last year, he won by knockout against RoboCop. I know that fight was kind of crazy, but ultimately, he's still dangerous. He came in there and he won by knockouts against RoboCop, and RoboCop is no slouch. Remember that. But honestly, the issue here is the stylistic matchup. Duncan is younger, faster, and more mobile than RoboCop was. So definitely, it's going to be a tough matchup for Jared Cannonier. He's only getting slower. Chris Leroy Duncan, if he establishes his range early, it's pretty much wraps after that. We all saw the Jared Cannonier fight against MVP, where he struggled to even just catch MVP at that point, and I think he's going to struggle here exactly the same way. Chris Leroy Duncan, again, younger, faster, taller, more athletic, better movement. He should be able to just dance around Jared Cannonier and win a unanimous decision in this fight. So that's the pick. Chris Leroy Duncan, you guys know how he rocks. We'll get it done by just simply dancing around, picking his shots, staying away from danger. This fight's not going to the ground. And Jared Cannonier is kind of old. He has to learn that big shot in order to get it done. Still dangerous, but unfortunately for me, we're going to go ahead and pick Christian Leroy Duncan to get it done via decision. Now, next fight up, we got the main event of the evening. We got DDP, Dricus Du Plessis versus Kamaru Usman. Now, Dricus comes in at -295, and Usman is a +220. Former champ versus former champ. You guys know who these guys are. The biggest question you gotta ask yourself is, can Usman consistently wrestle and control DDP? Because if he can, then obviously he'll be able to win minutes and secure a nice decision victory possibly here, similar to Chimaev. But if you can't, then it's going to be a long 5 rounds, a long 25 minutes for Usman. So yeah, with that being said, it's going to be very difficult to control DDP. He's considerably larger. You guys seen the muscle mass on him. He's extremely strong, and he's definitely difficult to control. Not to mention, Kamaru Usman is older and has bad knees, and is pretty much a jab merchant at this point. So you got to ask yourself, can he, control DDP in this fight? I don't think so. I think early on, he's going to have his success, Kamaru Usman that is. Maybe early on, you'll see that Kamaru Usman maybe looks good in the first round, ultimately shortening those odds those live odds. And if that happens, honestly, bounce on that. Because DDP is only going to get better after the first couple rounds. He's going to continue pushing forward. I don't really see him gassing out against Kamaru Usman. I see him possibly losing the first round, maybe even the second. But third, fourth, fifth, that's all his. That's all his. I don't see Kamaru Usman being able to control him in those deeper rounds, in those deeper exchanges of grappling. I expect, it to slow down a bit. But anyway, DDP, I got him here. He's the pick. I can't really trust in Kamaru Usman in this stage of his career. He is older, like I mentioned. The knees are kind of shot. The jab's all he got. And DDP is athletic as hell, strong as hell, and definitely hard as shit to control. So it's going to be a lot to ask for from Usman. Usman is definitely no Chimaev, and Usman is definitely not a young prospect anymore. So definitely a tough matchup for Usman. Usman used to be that guy, but in this fight, DDP is going to get it done via decision. 3 rounds to 2, 4 rounds to 1. I'm not sure, but DDP is definitely going to be the pick. Well, that's the video, fam. If you like what you see, please comment down below, hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.